Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning to our Central and Mountain and West Coast viewers. My name is Mike Chichester. I'm a team leader here at Didacom. Also on the line we have Pat Toothaker. He's in business development at Bronto. Good afternoon, Pat.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. I think this is going to be a great webinar for us. So today we're going to learn how to grow your business with M.O.M and Bronto email marketing. So today's agenda, what is Bronto? We're going to talk about the benefits of integrating M.O.M with Bronto's email marketing. We're going to learn how to share information between M.O.M and Bronto. So why do we need to integrate M.O.M and Bronto? Real simple, increase sales. I venture to guess everybody on this call is looking to increase sales. This is an easy, simple way to do that. At the end, we're going to be taking your questions. If you notice, on the right-hand side, there's a window with the questions. So just click the button, and we'll get to your questions at the end. Also, at the end, you'll get my contact info. So please contact me to learn more, and we can set up a time to talk one-on-one. So what is Bronto? I know one thing. They're the company with the cool green dinosaur logo. The thing that struck me about Bronto is it's so easy. I watched a live demo a few weeks ago, and I was blown away by how powerful and easy their system is. I encourage all of you to at least sign up for a free live demo. So Pat, why don't you talk a little bit about Bronto?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. That was a great introduction. Essentially, what Bronto is a marketing automation platform. We focus on being able to help specifically retailers and commerce-focused companies drive revenue through their email, mobile, and social campaigns. And again, like Mike mentioned, a big focus for us is making that easy to use, giving you powerful tools that are accessible but still sophisticated.
Thank you, Pat. Now let's take a look at some of the benefits of using Bronto. At the heart of today's webinar, we're going to learn how to work smarter and increase sales at the click of a button. To use M.O.M and Bronto email marketing, let's build targeted lists. M.O.M gives you very powerful tools on how to build targeted lists to include and exclude based on certain attributes. As you use M.O.M, you are, whether you know it or not, you're building up this gold mine of data. That data, you want to be able to use that and make it work for you. So this is exactly how we're going to do that. We're going to show you how to use the list management module in M.O.M to build that list. For example, let's say you own a sporting goods store and Rawlings came out with a new type of baseball. You'd want to build a list based on anyone who's ever purchased baseball equipment before. You want to try to gain that repeat business. Maybe you want to sell something complimentary like a baseball bat. Another example, let's say you sell books. You just received a new book. It's an autobiography by Jack Nicholson called My Life in Sunny Southern California. Makes perfect sense that you'd want to market that book to anyone living in and around Southern California. Perhaps you have dormant customers. Say somebody hasn't bought from you in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Perfect way. Let's market to them. Let's try to get them back as a customer. Final example here. Let's say you sell auto parts. You decide to run a promo offering a $50 rebate to anyone who purchases at least $350 in genuine Honda parts. So you want to sell to your existing customers, and maybe you also want to try to sell to your prospects. Maybe you have a prospect in your system that has never purchased from you before, but you've marked in your mom's system that they own a Honda. Perfect way. Let's get them a promo, offer them a $50 rebate. Maybe they'll become a customer, right? So real quickly here, let's talk about the Bronto integration with M.O.M. To use M.O.M.'s list management module to identify and select customers for specific campaigns or promotions. Export the list from M.O.M. and import into Bronto. Use Bronto to create and deliver your campaign or promotion. And finally, sell. That's what we're all here for. We want to sell. It's easy to export a targeted list. For some of you, this will look very familiar. First, we open List Management by going into Options, List Management module. Always start with Include. There's many options here, as you can see. We have many options under Names. We can do names from orders. We could do names from club memberships. We could do geographic location. Date of last activity, customer type, customer attribute, etc. I mean, you see all the options that are there. Pretty much you're limited by your own imagination. So it's very, very powerful. Let's take our example of, say we sell cars, we sell Honda. Say we want to build a list that says all customers who own a Honda and have ordered in the past 120 days. It's ridiculously easy in M.O.M. to do something like that. We can also exclude based on these same attributes. So, you know, maybe you want to get real general with the names you include, but then get real specific to the names you exclude out of that list. You know, there's some really, really powerful ways to do targeted lists. For our example, let's include all customers who ordered baseballs. So we do include names from orders based on stock number ordered. So if creating a list based on stock number, you can see here, you know, select on stock number, the condition equals, and in this example, value equals BB. So you can see the list of available items. We have baseball bat, Rawlings baseball bat. So, you know, you see your different products there. You can include as many or as little as you want. If you want to include all three of those products, great. If you only want to include one, you can do that also. Next, we need to compile. You see under the status it says need to compile. Click on the compile button. Get query has been compiled. And here, this is important because in M.O.M. you can mark a customer as do not email or do not call, but you can override that. Now, why would you ever want to override that? Let's say, for example, you have a product recall. In that product recall, that takes precedence over somebody who gets annoyed by emails from you. So you would want to go ahead and include them in your product recall email. So when printing or viewing the list in M.O.M., please remember to go into the print settings and select landscape. Click on Export Current List button. Select the format for which you'd like to export. Bronto recommends delimited with commas, as you can see here. It shows delimited with commas. Notice the two buttons. You have Select File Name and Select Fields. Make sure you select File Name first to name the export file and select where you save it. So now let's take a closer look at the Select Fields button. M.O.M. allows you the ability to include or remove any customer-related field. So some examples here, we have gross order amount, original source key, last activity date, website address. This data is going to be sent out from MOM and imported into Bronto. Pat, you want to talk a little bit about the, maybe benefits of including more or less fields in the import to Bronto?
Sure. Yeah, as most of you probably know, with the M.O.M system, you've got a lot of different data. Some of it may be relevant for your marketing efforts. Some of it may not be. You might not necessarily care about somebody's credit limit or what the best time to call them is when you're sending out emails or other campaigns. But things like your RFM metrics, last order dates, how many times they have ordered, maybe the total amount of revenue that they've generated for you, things like that. Those are really relevant within Bronto to help you target your customers based on things that they've done so that it's very personalized. For example, with the baseball example, you want to know somebody who's purchased baseballs before. You want to know the last time they ordered them so that you can get back in touch with them at the right time. Maybe you want to sell them a new glove or a new baseball bat that's coming out.
Thanks, Pat. So you can see MOM gives you the tools you need to be as creative as you want. Make sure you take note of where you choose to save the file. Now you're ready to open Bronto and get started. So in this example, we saved it to H, Bronto, momdataexport.txt. And so now you just need to browse out to that location on your computer. Again, anybody who wants to go through an example, just contact me directly at a time other than the webinar, and I'll be happy to show you how this all works. So now let's take a look at how to use Bronto to create and deliver that campaign. So I'll hand things over now to Pat Toothaker to highlight how Bronto will work.
Thanks, Mike. So I'm going to hop over here to show you a little bit more specifically about, now that you've gotten your information out of the M.O.M system, how do you get it into Bronto? There are a few different ways that you can get that information into Bronto. You can do a one-off contact import just of a general list if you want to do it one time. If you do have needs for some more advanced integration and data transfer, things like that, you can always look to our API. We've got an open and flexible API. But I think what's relevant for probably a lot of you will be something that we call our data loader app. And essentially what that is an FTP upload service. So when you're exporting your system from M.O.M, you could put it on an FTP server and use our data loader service to, on a regular basis, call that server to find the list and update your information in Bronto with any new information that may be there. And we can do that on an hourly or a daily basis depending on how frequently you want to keep that information updated. You can pull in contact data, which includes any type of custom fields that you might want to bring in, whether it's sporting goods related, or if you have a clothing brand, maybe you want to keep track of what type of designers or brands people are interested in. You can bring over your order history, of course, like the last purchase information, RFM metrics, product details. And really setting this up is very simple. It's all from within the Bronto platform. Once you've got your FTP server set up, you just put the credentials in there and configure, do a simple field mapping from what the field is in the M.O.M system to what it would be in the Bronto system, and it automatically runs in the background. You can easily make changes if you need to. It's very simple to set up, and it runs for you and keeps things nice and fresh for you so you can really take advantage of all that data that's within the M.O.M system. And one thing I want to point out is that whether you're using Bronto or not, even if you think that this isn't the right system for you, you've got to, you definitely have to realize that what you have in your M.O.M system is incredibly valuable, and there are a lot of ways that you can take advantage of it. So if you're not doing that, you should certainly consider ways to kind of unlock that data, and hopefully you'll see ways that Bronto makes that easier for you. So I want to take a step back here and kind of help you understand why Bronto. You know how to get the information out of M.O.M and into Bronto, but why would you want to? There are a lot of different systems out there, a lot of different vendors that do email service providing, things like that. But why would Bronto be the right fit for you? There are a few different things that we kind of do to set ourselves apart. The biggest one, I think, is the fact that we have taken a stance of focusing specifically on retailers and commerce-focused companies. As I mentioned, you know, we are looking for ways that we can help you drive revenue. If your business is transacting online, Bronto is giving you tools to help make the most of that. Again, you know, as Mike mentioned before too, ease of use is a big driver for our product development and what we're doing in terms of building out the platform. We want to give you very sophisticated tools that can help you be more advanced with your marketing campaigns, but also make it easy to use. Because we're working with retailers, oftentimes it's with somebody in the marketing department. They've got to wear a lot of hats. Email is not the only channel that they're looking at. You know, they've got SEO and SEM to worry about, remarketing, pay-per-click ads, things like that. So we want to make sure that you can really unlock this data as easily as possible without necessarily having to go back and forth with developers and other resources, things like that. And along with not only the tool, we also try and help surround you with personnel resources, whether it's your account managers, strategists, our customer support team. They're all experts in their field. And specifically, I wanted to speak to our support team. There's an award called the Stevie Awards by the American Business Association, and over the last 8 years, we've been nominated for it every year and won it 5 times. So it's a huge focus for us in terms of making sure that we can help our customers be successful, because if they're not successful, they're not going to stay with Bronto, and that's not sustainable either for our customers or for us. So just to reinforce that e-commerce focus, you know, we've got over 1,200 brands that are using Bronto. You can see just from this slide that there's a very clear theme that all of these companies are doing some sort of e-commerce. They're driving transactions through a website, or a lot of them also have brick-and-mortar locations, things like that as well. And if you're familiar with the publication Internet Retailer, they've got their top 1,000 list, the IR 1,000, and we kind of use that as a benchmark for how successfully we're providing a retail-focused solution, and we are the #1 provider there with nearly 100 brands that are on the IR 1,000 right now. So looking at the actual tool, I won't necessarily read this whole list of different features, but you'll probably see things that are familiar from, you know, whatever system you might currently be using, or just from looking out there at other options. But what I want to focus on is the fact that we do offer all of these different tools that are very focused on driving revenue, and again, we've built them in a way that really helps you drive that revenue, but making it very simple. So to get into a couple of examples, rather than just going through a laundry list of different features, I wanted to get a little bit more specific. We at Bronto kind of take a focus, especially in our strategy team, we take a focus of kind of framing things up as our crawl, walk, run approach. So I'll kind of go through these as you take baby steps. You can't start with the most advanced campaigns. So one place that a lot of our customers successfully start, there are a couple features, remailing and A/B split testing. Simply put, these are 2 processes that can be immediately automated to improve your campaigns. Even before you've gotten any other data from M.O.M or whatever system it is that you're pulling information from, you can start from day 1 by remailing, which is essentially you send out an email on Monday. You want to wait 3 days and say, you know, to anybody who hasn't opened this email, I want to send them the email again with another subject line. Or maybe they opened it but they haven't clicked, or maybe they clicked but didn't convert, and you want to send them an entirely new message to give them a better call to action. This is something you set up once at the time of scheduling the message. You don't have to worry about it. 3 days later, the second message will automatically be sent out. And we've had some customers that have seen that second message drive an additional 50% of the revenue that the first one did. And it's something that takes you just a minute, 30 seconds to set up as you're setting up that first scheduled send. A/B split testing is similar. You know testing is the best way you can improve on what you're doing. And within just a couple clicks, it takes just a couple minutes to set up an A/B split test. You can test your messages, whether it's on subject line, time and day of send, full message content. You can test different messages and automatically have Bronto figure out who the winner is based on your criteria. So here in this example, you want to test on a subject line, so you want your winning criteria to be open rate. You might send subject line number 1 to 10% of this list, subject line number 2 to 10%. Wait a couple of days. Whoever the winner is will automatically get the winning subject line sent to the rest of the contact list. And again, something that's easy to set up. It's going to make your emails more effective, hopefully get your customers more and more engaged, and really you don't have to do much on the in terms of maintenance, things like that. It just runs in the background and sends for you. Taking things to the next step, which is kind of where data can come into play, and just using this different personalized information, order data, things like that, is using Bronto's segmentation feature. So we mentioned when Mike was speaking about the baseball example. So now you've got that data in Bronto, and looking at our segmentation builder, what we have is you build out a set of rules. And within those rules, you will have a constantly updated, essentially, list of different customers that fit within this set of rules. So say it's March, spring training is about to start. You know somebody in the past is interested in baseball. Second one there, you know that they have ordered at least once before, but they also haven't ordered in the last 60 days. You want to make sure that you're marketing to them in time for spring training so they restock. Maybe they're somebody who's a little league coach. They got to buy a bunch of new equipment for their team, and that's how you really unlock the power of what you've got within the M.O.M system. And you can see just a general snapshot of what one of our contact records might look like. There's a lot more information here. I couldn't fit on the screen. There's a ton of it. But you can see, a little bit about where they came from, how many emails have been sent to them, what their open rates, their performance rates are, what their RSM metrics are, things like that. So there's a lot of things that you can do. And using this order data, not only can you segment on it, but you can also trigger messages based on this information. So a great one is a replenishment campaign. If you've got somebody who's selling vitamins, for example, and you know somebody bought a 30-day supply of whatever vitamin, you can have a trigger set to automatically send a replenishment email at day 25 saying, hey, you're almost out, you got to order some new vitamins. It's that simple, but that kind of information that's within Bronto allows you to do these effective campaigns. And personalized targeted emails are incredibly more likely to be opened. I'm sure plenty of you have inboxes that you just go through every morning and delete all sort of promotional emails that aren't really relevant to you at all. And I kind of touched on it here in the last one, but our automation is really, I guess, what we would call our run section of this, a little bit more advanced. What we have here is Bronto's workflow automation canvas. And you can see it's just a drag and drop canvas. On the left, you've got a number of different triggers that can start this workflow. You've got your filters that will kind of meter out how this workflow will go, and then actions. So one campaign that is incredibly effective that a surprising number of retailers aren't really taking advantage of is a welcome series. So you may be sending a welcome message in just one. You may not be sending anything at all, but when you sign up for a newsletter as a customer, that's when you're most engaged with a brand. I wouldn't be signing up for a newsletter if I didn't want to hear from this brand, or if I didn't want to purchase something sometime in the near future. So that's when you want to make sure you capture them. Whether or not they're purchasing now, you want to make sure they're engaged. So with our automation canvas, within 30 seconds, you can easily set up a multi-part welcome series here. In this example, you've got the contact is added trigger. Anytime somebody new is added to the Bronto system, it starts this workflow. You send them welcome message number 1. Maybe you want to wait 3 days to see if they've opened it. If they haven't opened it, you want to send them the same thing with another subject line, similar to remailing. If they have opened it, maybe you want to send them welcome message number 2, which is 15% off or free shipping. And this is really powerful. Again, it runs in the background. You set it up once. It takes just a couple minutes to get it going, make it active, and once it's set up, it takes no maintenance. It sits there in the background until you want to update something or change the messages, things like that. And just to kind of speak to how exciting that feature is one of our customers is Gander Mountain. They're an outdoor goods retailer. When they came on with Bronto, they weren't doing any kind of welcome messages. And they started setting up a welcome series using this kind of workflow. And now, a couple years later, their welcome series messages accounts for 30% of the revenue driven by their email channel. So that's huge. If they're driving $100,000 in revenue now, adding this welcome series gave them another $30,000+ with one-time setup, and it just runs in the background. And there are a number of other things you can do with this. You can trigger based off of a segment membership change. So again, that might be where you've got your order history and your 30-day replenishment campaign. You can have it triggered where automatically on maybe day 20, you want to send them a message to replenish their stock. On day 25, a little bit more urgent, say, here's free shipping. On day 30, say, uh-oh, you should be out. Hopefully you got something, hopefully you got your new supply. If not, here's an overnight shipping coupon or something like that. A lot of different things you can do, a lot of different triggers, and happy to kind of follow up with you after if there's any particular use cases you'd be willing to look into. So I've also alluded to our services and some of the personnel, like I mentioned, the resources that are at Bronto. And again, it's important to note that you have all of these tools, and we make it easy to use, but a lot of times you're not necessarily sure what to do with them. I could give you the most powerful tool in the world. No matter how easy it is, even, you may not know necessarily what is a good welcome series. You might not know what is the right way to get more contacts on my list if that's what your focus is. What Bronto can do is supplement some of that, especially with small businesses that don't necessarily have a lot of resources. They don't have a big internal marketing team. You might be able to use our strategy as a service that's an ongoing engagement of best practices. You might want to do a project, which would be one time help you set up your welcome series, or maybe it's help you create a holiday plan if you've got a very seasonal business, which most people do. We can help you with implementation of any kind of integrations, things like that you need. We can help you with deliverability. It's another big focus of ours, because if your emails aren't going to the inbox, you're just wasting your money sending nothing. So there's a lot of different ways that we can help you out. So now that I've shown you a little bit about the tools and some of the things that Bronto can do, I want to hopefully wrap this up and give you a couple of different examples of how exactly people have used Bronto. Hopefully one of these will kind of strike a chord with you and show you the value. First one here, we've got a company called Moda and Pele. They're a brick-and-mortar retailer. They've been around since the 70s, and now they're a huge high-fashion shoe brand in the UK. They've got over 30 stores. Due to some issues with deliverability, some lack of segmentation options, and a system that was just very manual and difficult to use. They decided to go with Bronto back in 2012. And they had 3 goals in mind. They wanted to be able to implement and move their data into Bronto quickly and easily. They wanted to segment their data in order to send more targeted email campaigns to a smaller proportion of their contacts. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You might be sending to a huge list right now, but when you start getting more segmented and targeted with Bronto, your email sends may go way down, saving you a little bit of money, but you'll be also hopefully getting more engagement and driving more revenue through it. And the third goal they had was to improve their efficiency, of course, accomplish more. They had very limited resources. They wanted to automate some of those segmentation and mailing processes. So immediately with Bronto, before even implementing any of these other, fancy features of testing and adding data into their system, they immediately saw an increase in deliverability, increase in open rates and click rates, and conversion rates. And that's just from sending their message from going through one pipe, instead sending it through Bronto. A/B split testing I mentioned, that led to a 30% improvement in open rates. Remailing, they had a summer sale campaign that generated 12% of the overall campaign revenue. That's free money essentially. It's basically like printing money, as one of our customers has said before about remailing. And in the 7-month period that this data was taken when they first joined Bronto, their increase over the previous year, the same 7 months, was over 200% in revenue driven by email. Another example that I think is really relevant for small businesses in particular is Kaleidoscope Yarns, because they are the epitome of a small business. They didn't have much of a marketing staff, but they've got a very specific product that caters to a number of different demographics, mostly women, because it's hobbies and knitting, things like that. And they're driving 65% of their revenue through e-commerce. So email marketing was a huge piece of importance for them. And some of you might think that these strategy offerings, things like that, are more relevant for bigger companies, those that really need to get really advanced with their email right off the bat. But Kaleidoscope Yarns felt that, kind of as I mentioned before, that the power of the platform, along with the ideas and the advice that our strategy team could provide, is really where they would get the best results. So using our strategy team, there were a few different things that they did. They started off with sending one welcome message 2 days after customers signed up for their newsletter, something they hadn't done before. The next step was expanding their web form so that they would capture more information about those people that signed up, so they could be more personalized, more targeted. They updated their website creative to help grow their list more quickly. And then from there, they expanded that welcome message from just one to a series of 3 messages over the course of 10 days. And within 3 months, they were able to recoup the entire cost of their strategy service, and their welcome message revenue increased 400%. Again, these are things that are easy to implement, easy to maintain. They run in the background, and they're just driving you revenue and hopefully making your life easier so you can focus on other important parts of your business. The last one I wanted to mention, because this one gets a little bit more advanced, we can talk, say, the run section of things. This company, Pharmacin & Company, is a gourmet food delivery service. They are a very seasonally driven business, obviously around the holidays, a lot of gifts and things like that. So they've got a narrow window to make sure that they put the right product in front of the right person at the right time, or else they won't be able to stay competitive. So they wanted the power to segment their audience based on their current shopping habits as well as their past purchases. And there are a few different things that they implemented in terms of segmentation. They did segmented by product line. They did VIPs, past gifters, and then also lapsed purchasers from the last 2 years. Customers who hadn't purchased in 2 years, so that's somebody who you would think is completely unengaged, you've lost them, they're not a customer anymore. They converted 16% of the time, which is an impressive recovery number. And those that hadn't purchased in the last year, converted at 24%. Their old VIP campaign was very generic. It wasn't really targeted or personalized at all. The new one, they targeted VIP groups based on what products they might be interested in based on their tastes. And that ended up having, obviously, an incredible conversion rate of 24%. And in all, their year-over-year revenue increased 160%. And their sales peak season extended actually into January for the first time ever. Usually it ended at December, and that was it. So they got a whole nother month to drive more revenue. So that's pretty much what I have to say about what Bronto can do. You know, I wanted to just focus on some of the ease of use, the ability to drive revenue. Hopefully you can see the value of it and where it makes sense to upgrade to a more sophisticated platform or look at someone that's more focused on retail. And obviously if you have any questions, happy to answer any. You've got the question feature right there. We'll answer some now. And if there's any that we need to talk about afterwards, definitely get in touch with Mike or myself afterwards. And Mike, I'll flip things back over to you now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Pat. I think that's a lot of really great info for any customer who uses M.O.M. And I hope our M.O.M. customers do see the value in this. At this point, we're going to pause for just a minute. We're going to gather some questions, and then we're going to answer them.
So we've got a couple questions. It looks like we've had a few regarding deliverability. This is one thing that I know has been an issue for a number of our customers coming over to Bronto, especially if they're on more of an entry-level provider. Deliverability is a big focus for us. We've got a team dedicated to keeping relationships with the different email clients out there. We can help make sure you're following best practices. We've got a very strict permissions policy so that everybody that's using Bronto, they have very clean lists, very engaged lists. You know, so we try and minimize the effects of poor marketing practices by making sure we work very closely with our customers there. And we actually publish our deliverability stats at bronto.com/stats.
I'll jump in here, Pat. I see a couple questions about pricing. One about how it compares to Constant Contact or MailChimp.
Yep. Yeah, so, you know, as I've kind of alluded to, we focus on mid-market retailers. We look at ourselves as kind of the next step up from an entry-level provider where we're able to help you take the next step to getting more advanced and sophisticated with your marketing, turn your email into a strategic revenue channel. And with that, you know, we are certainly aware we aren't the low-cost leader out there. We're going to be likely more expensive than some of those options. And that's fine. That's what we're not trying to be the leader in terms of price. Hopefully you see some of the value of what it is that we offer compared to what you're doing. But in terms of like the pricing structure, you know, we work on annual contracts, and it's based primarily on what your email volume is in terms of a CPM rate. And then I mentioned also that we have a number of different services, things like that you can look at as well. So we certainly try and make things flexible, and we call it our graduation story. But this is where we get a lot of our most successful customers from, is those that are on, like I said, an entry-level provider that are looking to get more advanced with their email, looking for best practices. They want a long-term partner. You know, we're looking for people who don't just stay with us for a year and then leave. We want them to stay a customer for years and years and grow with us and help us. We can help you grow as well. So that's kind of what the pricing structure is looking like. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of different price points just depending on what your particular size is, and if you've got specific questions, happy to address those one-on-one.
Maybe we got time for one more, Pat. You want to pull one more out?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like there have been a few questions about scalability. I know are just in the fact that a number of the brands that were on that slide that I showed and some that I mentioned are bigger names. You know, they're somewhat well known, and we might get a little bit of concern about whether or not we can accommodate small businesses, ones that are growing or just getting started. And it's definitely a place where we excel. You know, we've got a lot of customers that are very large, sending a lot of email, sending a lot of volume. But we also have, you know, the core of our business, which is those customers that have started small and grown with us over the course of a number of years. So we try and make things very flexible for you. We've got very inclusive pricing. All of those features that were on that list that I showed you, I can't remember what number slide it was, but that list of features, those are all included within the platform so that you get everything right off the bat. We've got a number of different ways that we can help you take advantage of it, make sure that you're getting the most out of it, because we know that your dollars are stretched very thin across all these different channels. So we try and work with you as much as possible because we know that you're investing a lot of trust in us to make sure that those dollars are well spent.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Pat. That'll conclude our webinar today. Just one more slide here. I'm going to put my contact information up, and please feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, concerns you may have, and get you started right away with using Bronto to help you increase your sales. Thank you for attending.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Pat, can you just advance that last slide? There we go. There's that last slide, folks. So please contact me. There's my contact info. Reach out to me directly, and I'll be happy to help you.